Hello everyone, we are here with Michael Canadas.
Hi Rachel, hi everyone.
You are live in the Dolly Cam, Michael. Thank you for, we are here right now having a private tour of the Carmel Doll Shop's booth, alone in the sales room, which is wonderful. They let us in to do this. So how has your show been so far?
It has been wonderful.
Great. Well, I know you have a couple top picks in your booth that we're excited to share and to see with everyone. We have a lot of people tuning in. If you guys are tuning in, share our video so more doll people can see it. But Michael, what is number one?
Number one in our inventory right now is Lily, which is a Lavalley Perron. And Lavalley Perron, for you that don't know, and Lily, she was the doll that was used for Poupée Model as their model. So she really is Barbie's great-great-great-great-grandmother.
I love that.
And what's nice is she has a marked trunk, and she also has the body that's marked to go with it.
Well, that's absolutely incredible. Have you ever had anything like this before?
You know, we have, but what is very nice about this Lily is even though you were expected to make clothes yourself, these are all professionally made, shop clothes. So these were the Poupée de Nuremberg, which was the name of the shop, by the way, Poupée de Nuremberg's. These were their ready-to-wear pieces.
Look at that. And are there clothes in her drawers
Yes,
as well?
But I think we should let you see the body first before we go to that. So she's got a wooden articulated body with bisque feet. You can see bisque legs.
Look at
and
that.
Bisque arms. Lily's came with many combinations of bodies, but really the size, which is about 17.5 inches, is the standard size that you would find for a Lily. But let me show you what's really wonderful about her trunk. It's one of those special ones that all folds up, like so. But then there are these wonderful drawers filled with super accessories. So she's got her lotto game, her fans, handbags, hats, toiletries. But this is what's really special. She's got a fabulous pair of earrings.
Oh, look at that. There are a lot of hearts going pitter-patter right now. Just look at that.
And these, they're made with 100% 19th century rhinestones, but yet they're still just super.
Look at that. Now, was this doll, this was the ultimate plaything. I wouldn't think that too many girls on the playground had anything like this.
These were expensive dolls, but at the time that, what it was in here is more of a goodies.
Look at that.
She has a lot of plaids and checks, but it's a beautiful coat.
In the competition, they had a section of dolls that you could enter that were just wearing plaid, so she could have entered the competition.
She really could have.
She would have won with that jacket.
And, a lot of people don't realize this, but plaids became popular double. Two characters in the 19th century made plaids very popular. One was Empress Eugenie, who was half Scottish, so she loved Scottish plaids, and the other was Queen Victoria. And Eugenie and Victoria considered themselves sisters. They were best friends. They were probably only the two people that could relate to each other and share secrets. So both of them put plaids on the marketplace.
Well, that is interesting.
And it was
history.
Victoria that actually wanted the plaids to all be named. Before that, they were not named. So you'd have Mackenzie plaid and so on and so on.
Interesting.
Yes.
And plaid is also very popular with the Little Women series.
That's right. Well, because it's of the 1860s is when that all exploded. But here's the famous, you'll see these on Ruby Lane. You could go and probably buy one right now from one of the shops. This is the Lily corset.
Look at that.
And it's very, when you see this, you almost know that it had to come from Lavalley Perron.
Just beautiful. Speaking of Ruby Lane, your shop is on Ruby Lane, the Carmel Doll Shop, and you have one of the larger, if not, I think maybe the largest, because you have over 1,000 items listed in your shop. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Well, we actually need to get working because we haven't done anything for a while because we've been busy actually accumulating So get ready, folks.
Which is exciting.
Yes.
Speaking of getting ready, we have a lot more to look at behind you, but tell us about what is coming.
Well, I mean, as far as events that we have coming up, the main event that the public could get into right now is the Rose Percy Event in Springfield, Illinois, and that's the weekend of September 9th. We have reached our, goal of that we need to have for attendees, so we're very happy about it. But we would like to have it, since it's the last Rose Percy event, we'd like to have it to be the biggest ever. So we have room for people to come to that. It's going to be a phenomenal weekend. We have all kinds of things planned, and if you love history and you love America and you love Lincoln, there is no place better to be than that. The Lincolns lived in their lifetime as a couple in two homes. One was their home in Springfield, and the other was the White House. So you will get to tour the Lincoln home. The Lincoln Museum and Library is, I think, one of the finest learning, entertaining American places that you could be. And it's going to be a phenomenal weekend. So I hope that people can want to sign up for that. They can just go to www.rosepercy.org, and there's a form there. You can
just sign right up. The Rose Percy Project, if you guys Google that, you can look at some of the past events and, of course, sign up for this one. Ruby Lane will be there with our Dolly Cam.
And Ruby Lane, and I should thank the powers that be at Ruby Lane. Ruby Lane is actually going to be one of our sponsors for the event, which is really very magnanimous of them to do. And that helps by them stepping in and sponsoring it. It saves the event money, which then really that goes all back to the veterans. That's what we're raising money for, various veterans projects there. So if you're listening, thank you, Ruby Lane.
And you're very welcome. We're thrilled to do it and honored to be here. So thank you very much. Over here in the corner of your booth, we have a couple of the Gibson Girls, but they are surrounded by some outfits.
Let me move these kids. Oops, we almost lost one. Yeah, we're kind of known for wardrobe dolls because I do love clothes. I think I might love clothes more than I love dolls. I love dolls, but I love clothes. But this is really our unique package because this is the smallest Gibson Girl, and they're twins, and they have identical matching
Look at that.
gowns and suits, and
they're fraternal twins.
Yes.
Not quite identical. How fun is this?
We may have, sometimes that happens. When we're born, we start out blonde, and then eventually it gets dark,
Yes.
and then it gets blonde again.
So they have how many outfits?
Let's see,
5?
they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 outfits, and then I think they've got 5 pairs of hats.
What a wonderful package.
But what is very interesting is they're tiny. And
They
yet
are.
The styling is of, the turn of the century styling is still there, which I think is something very difficult to get in that little tiny scale.
And these dolls are probably 9 inches tall? 10?
Yeah, I think they're 10.
10.
One looks a little taller. It's just because she's elevated up so that she, that there's in display that there makes a little difference rather than just being a straight line. And the thing about Gibson Girls to me is they're actually a very hard doll to mingle with other dolls. Mm-hmm. So I think they're good if you could do a little study group of more than one of them, because no dolls are not all alike, but
right.
Yet they look right together.
Are Gibson Girls snooty, or are they just a little misunderstood?
They are totally misunderstood because I'm going to try to quote this properly. She's taller than other ladies. She's more athletic. She is an American girl.
I love it.
She is the Gibson Girl.
Oh, that.
And she is really a glamour puss and a feminist, all rolled in one.
So she's one that you just got to get to know. Don't judge her by her snooty.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
She is not snooty. And she really is one of the early 19th century or 20th century's most dynamic person that never lived. She was all in the imagination of Charles Dana Gibson, and he created the Gibson Girl. And the funny thing is, she was actually loosely based on Evelyn Nesbit, and who was the famous girl in the Red Velvet Swing and the Stanford White Murder. And when we first started in dolls, we actually got some items that had belonged to Evelyn Nesbit. And she was a great beauty, and Charles Dana Gibson loosely based the Gibson Girl on her and other characters, but then she developed a persona all on her own.
Oh, I love it. Thank you for that history.
American girl.
She is an American girl. A couple people wrote in, and we asked actually for questions, a couple questions ahead of time in anticipation for our interview. And one of the questions was, what doll do you identify with the most?
That I identify with the most in, do you mean for me as a...
From the person...
You mean that I love the most?
Yeah, maybe that you love the most.
Well, I have to say that 35 years ago, Jane Coleman informed me that men love Bruce.
Oh.
And I think that she is right, that men, we do love Bruce. I think women love Bruce too. But, I think in each category I have favorites. So I am way more eclectic than I think people think. I love a good doll, no matter what type of doll it is, and I can find some beauty in it. So it's really hard for me to answer that. I will tell you, though, as far as a collector, and our collection is for the public to see. They can come into our little museum, the Grovian Doll Museum. I don't actually keep anything that isn't my favorite. So we've got maybe 600 favorites. And I think that's the way it should be. When you see a doll, whether it's, people are shocked to know that we have a very nice Barbie collection. We have a very nice Dawn collection. We just bought a massive amount of really incredible things. But two of my favorite things that we got was a W.C. Fields composition doll. So I am very eclectic. I do have a soft spot for early Bebes, Woodens. I think we're really pretty well known for fashion dolls. Mm-hmm. But, if I don't have constant stimulation then I become bored.
Exactly.
And one of my loves too that is very undervalued right now and underappreciated are really good early paper dolls. I don't have any for sale, but that's something that I'm always looking for. And I don't think people realize how rare they are, because here we're in Boston, a show that has some old-time collections here, and there are not early paper dolls for sale, so they're very rare.
They're almost considered, they're ephemera in a way, and they fell apart.
Yes, and they're played with and thrown out, and so there are a lot of things that I think that if you think the ones that we're identified with, for David and I as,
it's these fabulous brews is what we think of.
But the one thing that I think people that tend to, if someone wants to show me something at a show that they brought for us to see, it's always Max and Moritz.
Oh, yes.
So there's a little bit of Max and Moritz in
all of us, but especially in you. Somebody wanted to know, what was a job that you had before you were in the doll world?
Well, I've had a few jobs before I was in the doll world. Early on, I was born into a very hardworking family that was in the restaurant business. So I think a lot of my fascist tendencies have to do with knowing how to run a kitchen, run a restaurant. That's one thing that's served me really well, and I'm very proud of that. I have no you know. And then the other thing was I dabbled slightly to get into costume in the operatic world. That has also served me really well too. But, you know, I somehow we stumbled onto this, and I think that one thing I always advise people in the world, young people like yourself, Rachel, is that life has lots of opportunities. The difference between most people is most people have an opportunity and they don't take it. So I had this area of dolls that it could really incorporate all those other things, and I look back now and I think this was much better to deal with than all those other situations. Could I design an opera? Yes, I could. Could I run a restaurant?
Right.
Yes, I could. But I don't want to.
Right.
I enjoy what I do now.
Oh, we love it. The last question that somebody had is they wanted to know what role, and dolls take on a lot of roles, but what role does the doll play in our society today?
Well, I think that you could look at a doll and every one of them, like we'll use Rose Percy. Rose Percy is a perfect example of public service, and taking a doll and using it to a public service to raise funds. Dolls are a teaching tool. Dolls are a three-dimensional view of the world. They're cultural icons. Barbie's a cultural icon. So I don't think that, but here's the one thing I think that's most important about dolls for adults. Not too long ago, the club that we're in had its 25th anniversary, and our president of the club is a scientist, so she's very serious about things. But she wrote in her letter to the attendees that we all need a safe place to play.
Yes.
And I think that dolls give people a safe place to play and to express themselves, just like dollhouses too. I mean, I collect dollhouses, and a lot of people do, and I think it's just great because I don't need 11 real houses. I can have my Victorian house, I can have my Georgian house, I can have my Art Deco house, and you can
you can live in other worlds.
Yes, yes.
That is such an important piece. I love what you said, a safe place to play. A lot of the people that come to these shows in real life, as we're going to say, they are attorneys and they're scientists, and they have
a lot of stress.
Yeah. They're doctors, a lot of doctors, and they get to come here and step into a whimsical world
and I think
play.
We should talk about, since we're in New England, this is a really phenomenon, Rachel, because, you know, we're from the great state of California, and these are all Mason Taylor dolls, and it is really a rare thing to see 4 of them at one time in really, for their type of doll, in really good condition.
There's the 4th one over there. Wow, these are wonderful, and we do have some people tuning in that are fans of these dolls. For those that have never heard of a Mason Taylor doll, who was Mason Taylor?
Well, it was a firm in Vermont, and they were die makers, which and they started a line of dolls, and they really have phenomenal wooden bodies. And what's really great about these, and I'll show you another one. This is considered the rarest one because it's the oldest and has an unusual, but the mechanisms, the bodies are just fantastic. And they've utilized wood and probably zinc, I would imagine, for the lower joints. And they're Americana. And this is a kind of doll that actually has a crossover appeal, because it's not only doll collectors that collect them, it's also
historians,
folk art people,
right?
And folk arts, and it's New England, and you know, we did have in this country doll makers, but it's not as huge as Europe,
right?
And
Catherine Peterson just said, "Call me on this one." I know she's a big collector of these.
Yes, she is.
And that one is pretty. Yeah. It looks like it has a different hairstyle than the others.
Yes, it does. You know, maybe we should get in.
So we can see the different hairstyles here. So this one's
considered
especially
the earliest.
okay. So the hairstyles became more uniform
Yeah.
in their style as they
I
got a
think we
little
could-
newer.
I mean, I think that's pretty much, well, no, I think it may go, let's go, let me organize them.
Now, to a collector like Catherine Peterson, she looks at these dolls and she
Catherine
thinks they're
Peterson.
absolutely beautiful.
Well, Catherine is really an advanced collector.
She is.
So she is, you know, we've known Catherine for years and years, and she's got a gorgeous collection of things. But she's also been around enough to see different things, and I would consider her an advanced collector. So it does take, I mean, I
You have
love-
to develop a taste.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love, you know, German bisque and girl dolls and whatnot. But, you know, that you do have to kind of evolve to get to the point of a Mason Taylor or a Springfield doll or
Absolutely.
any of those kinds of pieces.
Because when you look at them at first glance, a lot of people, if you're just starting out, you don't understand the appeal. And Rose Percy, she kind of has had to deal with that over the course of her life. Now, how does she deal with the other girls on the playground who maybe don't think she's as pretty as some of the others?
Well, first of all, yes, I hear that occasionally from people. And usually when they say that, I have to remind them that pretty is as pretty does. The thing about Rose that I think a lot of people don't understand is you have to see her in life.
Yeah.
It's like you think you've seen the Mona Lisa, but you haven't seen the Mona Lisa until you're standing before it.
Right.
Because even though I just think she photographs nicely, it's not the same.
Right.
In life, I've had people that have, you know, been in private quarters with Rose Percy, and then when they see her performing, they say, "Oh my God, it's a different." But you know what? I don't think that. And what I find interesting is the people that would say Rose is ugly. Maybe they should get a mirror themselves and have a look. And you know, she has lived a very active life.
Yeah, she has a lot to show.
She has lived a very active life, and she is 158 years old.
Right.
Or so. But we do have a very interesting thing that has happened. I shouldn't tell you this, but I'm going to. We just recently got a photograph of Rose Percy pre-Metropolitan Fair when she was young.
Oh my goodness.
And what is going to be the people that say, wow, she's not pretty. Well, she has aged, but not that much.
Not
Her
that much.
beauty is there.
Right.
And you know what? I try to, like, with people, and I try to see their inner beauty.
Exactly.
And if you don't see that in Rose Percy, I'm sorry, you don't get anything.
We just received a comment that says Rose has character. And if you're just tuning in and you're wondering who we're talking about, we are talking about Rose Percy. She is a very famous doll. She's been on the campaign trail for 115 years raising money for the Red Cross and veterans, and she is having it is the final
It's
Rose
the
Percy
final.
event.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
so
mean, she would be good to go on for indefinitely. I mean, she's a tough cookie too. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
But you know what? For us, you know, we've been involved with it, and it does take its toll on us.
Right.
And you know, there's a time for everything, and now it's the time for other people to step in and do that.
Right.
Doesn't mean that she won't do maybe some small things at the Grovian Doll Museum where she's going to live after that. But you won't be able to come in and see, you know, 150 pieces of clothes, and you know, the jewels will go into the safety deposit box.
Right.
And you know, she's not going away, but in this big event form it is for now.
And this event, if you guys are tuning in, is in Springfield, Illinois on the weekend of September 9th.
Yes.
And there are about 30 spots still available, so you can sign up for this monumentous weekend.
And the one thing too that we're doing is on Friday, the people that sign up, we haven't sent out the literature to the people that have signed up. We are having on Friday, we're having a Red Cross brunch. And the Red Cross brunch is where we really delve into Rose Percy's participation with the American Red Cross, which started in 1919, right after the end of the First World War. But her participation in World War I is pretty epic. And that is a really, I think, a very fulfilling event to come to. And the people that, once we kind of get to the point of the event sold out, then we're going to send out all those forms, and it's going to become the first come, first served basis. And Darlene Lane is making the very special souvenir doll for that event.
Oh, well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. And we're lucky that
we love Darlene's work.
Yeah, and she's going to do a
phenomenal,
very special doll that's going to be costumed as a junior Red Cross member.
Oh, goodness.
And I should also say to that is the people that go to that brunch have the opportunity to buy the remaining junior Red Cross original dolls. There weren't enough to do the whole brunch with the original dolls, but there's going to be a nice little group. And you know, Rose doesn't really need to have 75 of the same dolls.
No, she can
be happy with a dozen.
A dozen. I love it. So you guys just Google Rose Percy Project or go to the rosepercyproject.com and you can sign up. .org, yeah. Excuse me, and you can sign up immediately for this event.
Yeah,
this is one you do not want to miss. Yeah. You definitely do not want to miss. So we are in the booth of Michael Canadas at Carmel Doll Shop and David Robinson, and they also have a wonderful museum that is in California.
The Grovian Doll Museum.
I just said Californian because it is the Grovian Doll Museum in California, and right now we're looking at a beautiful room box. But Michael, can you tell us a little bit about your museum as we?
Well, yes. You know, it happened by accident when we were renovating our building. You know, people in our town didn't quite know what we were doing or what it was about, and they didn't understand a doll shop. So we were constantly getting, well, when's the doll museum open? Because that's something people can understand. And then one day David walked in the door. He said, you know, we have the room, we have the space, we have the collection. People want to see it. Why don't we do it? So the ground floor of our building is 2,800 square feet. So the doll shop takes up 900 square feet. So the rest of it is for the museum. Now, if you walked in off the street, you wouldn't really get to see the museum unless we were having an event and that kind of thing, or unless you let us know. But we really, when we have events or sewing workshops, which we have 3 a year, and we probably have 3 events a year, everything is open and everything could be seen. You know, it is a totally working building. Every space on that floor works. But you know, if we know someone's coming, we turn on the lights, open the doors,
and get ready.
Yes, yeah. And then special events in the town, like for instance, we have the Victorian Home Tour, and we open it up, and then we show all our Victorian homes during that. So it's really worked out kind of fun, and we realized that it's essential that we have places for people to go and enjoy dolls,
right?
See dolls.
It is, especially like a show like this. So if you want to get interested in attending one of these shows, you can go to the ufdc.org website and learn more about joining UFDC and becoming a part of this movement that we are in right here.
You know what? I think the more, as a collector, if you're just beginning at this, or even if you're a mid-range collector, or you know, the more exposure you have to this, the more opportunities. We were talking about opportunities earlier. The more you know about something and see it and can study it, the more opportunities you have.
Right, and make friends.
Absolutely.
Some of the most wonderful people come to these shows.
And you can actually make friends that you can have a lifetime.
Exactly. So we're about to open up for the final portion of the show, and I heard you say one time that when you have an idea, at the point that you say, when I have an idea, it's a little bit late because, honey, it's happening.
Well, that's for me. You know, the worst thing that David makes him crazy is when I will say to him, you know, I was thinking. because usually thinking means where but you know what? If you don't follow your ideas, I mean that's a sad thing.
Right.
I mean, my ideas, unfortunately, usually have to do with work. That creates more work or work for somebody. But you know what? I enjoy working. I enjoy what I do. So I just assume everyone else does.
Right.
So.
Oh, and they do. And they certainly enjoy your work. I have to say, out there in this world, we have Madonna, we have Adele, we have Rihanna, we have Sting. I've noticed on several pamphlets and programs in the last several years that you simply go by Michael and David. There's no more last names.
Well, we also go by the boys, and we're, you know, some people think we should be insulted by that, but both David and I think that we'll be in our walkers and we'll be still called the boys, maybe the old boys.
I love it. Well, Michael, thank you so much
Thank
for this
you,
wonderful
Rachel.
interview, and if people want to get in contact with you, they can go to the CarmelDollShop.com.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
send you an email or you comment on this video, and we'll ask you the questions the rest of the day today. So,
Okay.
all right, share
Thank
with your
you.
friends.
Bye-bye,
Bye-bye.
everybody.